come with me.
I am an essential worker.
Essential worker?
Yes. I work for Oskar Schindler.
Essential worker for Oskar Schindler.
One-armed Jew.
Yes.
Twice as useless. I work for Oskar Schindler.
Danke, look at the snow. Look at the snow. Look at the snow.
Are you an essential worker? Is your business essential? Well, apparently it depends on which state you live in and what form of fascism you have in the governor's office. I happen to live in one of those states where it's a stay-at-home order. In fact, you're only allowed to be out of your home if you are going to a work deemed essential, or you are going to an essentially sanctioned operated business, i.e. buying gas, going to the grocery store. But apparently, in places like the People's Republic of New York, churches are considered non-essential, thus closed, but your local liquor store, it's essential. Therefore, it's open. Now, who made that determination? In the state of Colorado, initially, the governor said that liquor stores and their recreational marijuana stores were considered non-essential, thus shut down. People literally protested. They took to the streets. They showed up at the Capitol. And the governor, he caved, and now liquor stores and recreational marijuana stores in the state of Colorado, they're open. If this so-called pandemic of the coronavirus really does have some airborne issues to it, that we feel this need that people need to be walking around in face masks, why would you encourage a business and behavior which sells a product designed to get people to breathe out like that? But it's essential. If you haven't figured out that we are living under a very soft martial law right now, I'm concerned because the younger generation, I'm talking about my adult children, your adult children, they're under this impression, this idea that what's happening right now is not an infringement of our constitutional rights. In fact, they really believe that, well, this is just a called on time of sacrifice, that we can sacrifice some of our social life and social interaction if it means saving people. Do you understand that is exactly how every authoritarian regime gets started? They create a crisis, a pandemic, if you will, that they then convince the masses, if you're compassionate, if you're caring, if you really want to do the right thing. And let's be honest, most people want to do the right thing. Then you will go along with this because this is what's good for everyone as a whole. The question is, what are we going to look like when it's over?
The hardship will end. It will end soon. Normal life will return, and our economy will rebound. We cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself. This is not a country that was built for this. It was not built to be shut down. At the end of the 15-day period, we'll make a decision as to which way we want to go, where we want to go, the timing, and essentially we're referring to the timing of the opening. Essentially the opening of our country. We have almost 160 million jobs in this country now, the most ever, by far the most ever. The number of jobs, almost 160 million. So we can't turn that off and think it's going to be wonderful. There'll be tremendous repercussions. There will be a tremendous death from that. Death. You know, you're talking about death. Probably more death from that than anything that we're talking about with respect to the virus.
The president is absolutely right. And right now, we have governors who are acting like rogue little individualistic leaders of their own little empires, their own little countries. And it's monkey see, monkey do. I've already talked exclusively about this. The governor of the state of Ohio, Mike Dewine, had to come out, and he had been in hiding for several days after he got smacked pretty hard even by the liberal media. He's finally come out of his hole like a woodchuck in the winter to see his shadow to enact the stay-home policy of New York and California. Now, he was smart enough to exempt churches from that order, but nonetheless, we now have tens of thousands of more people being stuck at home without jobs, without income. He's even regulated now daycare centers. You can only have one person per 6 children, and they have to be in their own room. Okay, so when the daycare facilities cannot meet that requirement, they have to close or lose their licensure. Okay, so where do these kids go? Again, I have been saying this to every state that has shut down their schools. If you send the kids home, the parents who have to go to work because they're considered essential, where do the kids go? Just wander the streets if they're not allowed in daycare centers? No, they end up with grandma and grandpa. I thought that was the part of the population we were supposed to be making sacrifice for to save and protect. Do you understand what's happening here? And the president is right. The economic effects on this could be absolutely devastating. And again, no one is making light of the fact that people are sick, but there is medication available. The FDA needs to get it approved and get it in the hands of doctors and hospitals. The president knows that. He knows that instinctively. But he's getting pushback from his so-called medical experts. Now, again, they want to do testing, you know, the kind of testing that lasts years and years and years. If this was a brand new drug, I might be able to understand their hesitancy, but this is a drug that has literally been around since the mid-1930s, used to treat malaria. And this chloroquine has been proven safe. And it's amazing. In every place it has been used to treat the coronavirus, COVID-19, it has been 100% effective. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. There are even governors who understand this and want it. It was the one smart thing Dewine did to release his health department to approve it for use in the state of Ohio. I know that Governor Cuomo over in New York wants it. People want this. It will raise people's calm and peace to know that there's actually medication available and ready to deal with this. That said, the president needs to start being Trump. He needs to be classic Trump. He needs to go with his gut instinct, and he needs to do what needs to be done, which is if he can't get his medical doctors on board to go ahead and give a thumbs up to the FDA to get rolling on this, then by executive order, he needs to do it, and he needs to start rolling back this soft martial law that we're all under. Look at what's happening on Capitol Hill right now. Why? They're going to put together a stimulus package that's going to help the U.S. citizen. Now, initially, I got really nervous when Mitch McConnell last week told the House Republicans, I know there's a lot of junk in it, but hold your nose and vote for it anyway. We've got to get this money into the hands of the American people. My grandfather used to say, if you give a mouse a cookie, he will demand a glass of milk. Translation, appeasement is always met with more demands. So once Mitch McConnell gave the signal that they would appease the Democrats, because even that initial $1 trillion spending package, there was funding for Planned Parenthood and all kinds of Nancy Pelosi's pet little projects. Well, once it got kicked to the Senate, now all of a sudden, we're getting a brand new set of demands. In fact, the new projected package is now $2 trillion. And what does it include? Well, Chuck and Nancy got together and they've added things like this. $33 million for new facilities for the NOAA. $100 million for NASA. $100 million for construction and environmental compliance, i.e. the Green New Deal. Yes, solar panels, because after all, solar panels will kill the coronavirus. Okay. $278 million for the IRS. What? $90 million for an HIV program. $36 million for the National Center for Advancing Translational Sciences. $7 million for one specific charter school. $23 million for Howard University. $300 million for the Corporation of Public Broadcasting. Yes, the People's Propaganda Network. You know, NPR, where they whisper the news because that makes them sound so much smarter than everyone else. $500 million for the Institute of Museum and Library Services. $1 million for the Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper of the U.S. Senate. What, pray tell, do they need $1 million for? $300 million for the Migration and Refugee Assistance Program, i.e. illegal aliens. $300 million worth of food that the government will have direct charge in redistributing. And we certainly know how efficient they will be in doing that. Oh, that's not even to mention the new laws that they want attached to any business that receives money through the stimulus package. New laws requiring them to have new gender and racially diverse corporate boards and guidelines. You know, my fear is the GOP will cave. Right now they're fighting it, but they're going to cave. Now, it won't be the full $2 trillion. I don't think that they're that stupid. But it'll be 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 trillion, when initially it was 1 trillion. And we don't even really need this 1 trillion if the president would just put America back to work. Override these rogue governors and put America back to work. You know, again, not making light of what's happening right now, but I think we've learned some lessons. We can practice social distancing. We've learned to, again, wash our hands, use hand sanitizer. We do not have a raging pandemic where you walk outside your house and there are dead bodies laying in the streets. This thing has been so hyped and so overblown and so absolutely just blown out of any proportion of reason and sanity. It's unbelievable. And for those of you that are still pouting and touting the propaganda of this is so much worse than the flu, you just don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. You are a fearmonger. You are a propagandist, and you are trying to incite and create a death fear that does not exist. It is only because there is such focused attention by the media on the daily, we have 100 more people that have the coronavirus. How many more people got pneumonia this week? How many more people got the regular flu this week? How many more people got bronchitis this week? How many people died yesterday in car accidents? I want to see their names and their faces and tell their story repeatedly on endless news loops. Please, keep it up. Keep it up, because by the end of the week, nobody will ever get in an automobile again. This dog and pony show that people are playing right now with other people's emotions and minds is sickening. We can go back to work and keep ourselves safe. After all, we're told that there's essential and non-essential business. So if we can engage safely for essential business, i.e. going to the liquor store, I think we can handle sitting down at McDonald's and eating a Big Mac. I think we can handle going to church. I think we can handle going back to work. This is beyond unconscionable and unbelievable. And Mr. President, you need to now take the reins. Because remember, it was Rahm Emanuel who said, never let a good crisis go to political waste. And you now have the Democrats, they want to pin blame, which is nothing new, but now they want to add to the stimulus package so that they know the Republicans will balk, they will fight it, which they will then try to spin with their cohorts in the media, that we, the GOP, the conservatives, are denying people the help they need, because most people won't read past the headline to find out all the crapola that's been stuck in this thing. And Nancy and Chuck will have won. Now, they may not get their full $2 trillion, but they were at $1 trillion, and they'll get it at 1.5, 1.6. Poof, bada bing, and the swamp goes on. Mr. President, end the soft martial law. Get this medication in the hands of the medical community and give the executive order that it is to be used. Watch people start getting better. You will watch the panic lower. The calm will restore. And once people get back to normal behavior, normal living, you are going to watch this need for this so-called $2 trillion spending package go away. Mr. President, be the president we voted for. Hey, that's it for this rant. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and a like. Spread this video. And make sure you are a subscriber to the channel. Smack the bell for notification of all of my rants. And you've got to click the word all, or you won't be told about any of my rants.